Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His Son, you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, who we know as Yahweh Shai. This your boy Padatas War, man. Yeah. So check it out. This is how we gonna do it today. So, the title of the video, as you already can see, is "Why Didn't Moses Get to Enter into the Promised Land?" So we gonna really go into why Moses, like, and we gotta think about it like this. Like, we talking about Moses, the lawgiver, one of the greatest, literally probably like the greatest person outside of Yahweh Shai to actually walk the earth. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Moses. We're talking about him not entering into the promised land. You feel me? Like, you gotta think about it like this. Let's just think about it like this. You lead the people out of a place of oppression, and then even though you lead these people out of a place of oppression, you yourself don't get a chance to experience, them entering into this land. You see what I'm saying? That you spoke so much about, and you led them out of oppression to a better place, but you don't even get a chance to actually be in the better place. You get the chance to see it before you die, but you don't get a chance. I mean, from afar, you get a chance to see it, but you don't get a chance to actually enter into that place. Like, that's torment, you know what I'm saying? But we definitely gonna go into, why Moses didn't enter into the promised land. So what I'm gonna do first right now is hold up. Let me share this real quick. Hey, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share the video too, man. Get it circulating and stuff like that. We got to reach our people. We out here trying to reach out to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, God's chosen people, the Israelites according to the Bible. So, this is just another message just to reach out to our people and just wake them up. You feel me? That's what we about. That's what we gonna do, So um yeah. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to share my screen and we finna get it cracking. Let's go. Okay, hold up real quick. Let me share my screen. Go right here. Share screen. Okay. Screen is being shared, and let's get on with the lesson. So first we're gonna go to Romans chapter 15 and verse 5. Let's go here real quick. Because one thing you got to understand about, like, when you deal with like the stories of the Bible and stuff like that, a lot of times people be like, well, it's just a story, but it's much more than a story, because there's things that you can learn from this story in which you're reading about. There's so much that you can learn. It's so many different type of things that you can take out of it, different type of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of things that you can take out of these experiences. You see what I'm saying? From you just being able to get experience. Now watch this. Let's read Romans chapter 15 and 4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So one thing to understand is that the things that were written aforetime, the things that were written before, you know what I'm saying? When you deal with it, like it's saying aforetime, were written for our learning. So the things that were written in the past were written for our learning, that we would read these stories and be like, okay, well, this is where he went wrong here. This is where he went wrong there. So I'm trying not to make that same mistake. You see what I'm saying? It's us being, basically, it's like, you being able to see the mistake, played out before you, instead of you having to go through that mistake, you actually getting a chance to actually be like, okay, well, this is the mistake that he made. I'm gonna try my best not to make that mistake, because I'm able to see this person's mistake and his downfall, right before me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how, these things were written for our learning, for us to understand and be like, okay, well, you know, This is what, this dude did something that, in the eyes of the Most High, this dude was a man after God's own heart. You know, what made him a man after God's own heart? What was his mentality? How was he wired? You feel me? By being able to see these things, we able to see like, okay, well, that's how David was. Okay, so what's in me? You know what I'm saying? We're able to put ourselves into the text, but also be able to allow ourselves to be able to learn from the experiences that these people had. And that's a powerful thing, to be able to learn from the experiences and stuff like that, because it's definitely needed. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to be able to teach on anything if you don't go through anything? You feel me? But another thing is like, our lives are literally, literal books. You know what I'm saying? That people around us might read. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the people around us, if you're an artist, you might put your life into your music. People might read it, read it by listening to what you're saying. Either way, our lives are literally like books, and that's how the lives of these biblical characters, their lives were like books for us to sit up there and read. And also, as we read, we learn. We take the wisdom, we take the good, we take the bad. You know what I'm saying? And we do as thou will with it. You feel me? So let's go to, we're gonna go to Numbers chapter 12, verse 3. Let's go to Numbers 12. Matter of fact, let's go to the NLT. We're gonna go to the NLT version. Yeah, Numbers 12. So this is Numbers chapter 12. So we're gonna read verse 3. Matter of fact, we're gonna read verse 1 through 3. It says, while they were at Hazeroth, Miriam and Aaron criticized Moses because he had married a Cushite woman. They said, has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Hasn't he spoken through us too? But the Lord heard them. So they sitting up there speaking out against Moses because Moses done married a whole Cushite woman. They had a problem with that because he's married a whole woman outside of their ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? They had a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And here you see them sitting up there bucking up, talking about what you have the Lord only spoken through Moses. He spoke to us too. Basically, kind of like, downplaying what the Most High has been doing through Moses. You know what I'm saying? Being kind of disrespectful. They was being kind of disrespectful. That's just, just the reality of it. So when you look at verse 3, because this is the key point of what I was trying to say. Now, Moses was very humble and more humble than any other person on earth. So one thing we got to keep in mind when we deal with Moses, we're dealing with somebody that the Most High God used, greatly. Moses was somebody that he used, like when we deal with the law. Moses was the lawgiver. Through Moses came the law. That's why we hear when we read Nehemiah 8:1 and then Nehemiah 8:8, it goes into the law being, Moses' law. But Moses' law is also the law of God. You feel what I'm saying? So Moses gave the law, man. And he was one of the he was very humble, more humble than any person on the earth. So here we see that even somebody that's one of the most humblest person on earth can be somebody that can fall. Like, to sit up there and think that you can't fall because, oh well, I'm 3 steps ahead of everything. I'm 5 steps ahead of everything. I done seen this play, I done seen that play. To think that you can't fall, you out of your goddamn mind if you don't think that you can fall. Anybody can fall, because Moses was one of the most humblest persons on earth, but yet he fell. How much more can anybody else fall? Nigga, you ain't Moses. You might not, you know what I'm saying? You probably ain't Moses in the reincarnation. So how much more anybody else? You feel me? Let's read verse 7. Now, no, verse 6 and 7. It says, and the Lord said to them, now listen to what I say. If there were prophets among you, I, the Lord, will reveal myself in visions. So he's basically saying, like, hey, with the prophets, I was revealing myself to them in visions. Like they would get visions that I would deliver to them, and that's how I was revealing myself to them. That's how I would make myself known unto the prophets. I would speak to them also in dreams. Now, watch this. Verse 7, it says, but not with my servant Moses. Of all my house, he is the one I trust. It says, verse 8, I speak to him face to face, clearly, and not in riddles. He sees the Lord as he is. So why were you not afraid to criticize my servant Moses? So when we deal with Moses, Moses had a deeper relationship with the Most High than, you know, any shoot outside of Yahweh Shai. He had one of the most deepest relationships with the Most High. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't just getting visions, or you know, he wasn't getting the visions just like the prop. I mean, I'm not saying like he probably didn't get no visions, but I'm saying like it was much more. The Most High revealed much more to him. His relationship was much more deeper. He revealed much more deeper secrets to Moses. You see what I'm saying? Opposed to what he probably would have revealed to anybody else. Matter of fact, I got a preset for that. Let me go to second Esdras 14. Let's go to second Esdras 14. I'm gonna read. Okay, so this is second Esdras 14, chapter 3. It says, then he said unto me, in the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and I talked with them when my people served in Egypt. Verse 4, and I sent him and led my people out of Egypt and brought him up to the mount of where I held him by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, these words thou shalt declare, and these thou shalt hide. So Moses had different things. He could understand. He was given revelations of the secrets of the times, whether it was the end to whatever. He was given different type of revelations from the Most High, and there were certain things that he could declare to the people, and it was certain things that he had to hide from the people. Why? I mean, he might have bugged niggas out. I mean, like, let's just be real. If niggas knew everything that was finna happen, it would bug some niggas out. Like, it's certain, like, even with us out there teaching, like, I'm not about to sit up there and tell you everything because it could run you away. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to throw out the you got to know how to fish. You know, you throw the line out there, you pulling it, you pulling it, you pulling it. As they get a little closer, closer and closer. That's, and think about it like this: as they get closer, as you continue to reel them in, and they getting closer and they getting closer and they getting closer. That's as they start getting closer, you're able to give them more, give them more, give them more, give them more. And as they continue to develop, then you're able to release some of the things you couldn't tell them. You know, you couldn't speak to them when you first met them. You see what I'm saying? You got to know how to do that. Moses might have told these some that would have bugged these niggas out and really sent them, you know, overboard. So that's something to keep in mind. You feel me? So let's go back to the lessons though. The lesson though. So hold up, let me go. We're gonna go to, so we about to go to the story. Let's go to the story. Numbers chapter 20. Let's read this. So we're gonna read Numbers chapter 20, where basically it's gonna give you the answer of what happened with Moses, like of how Moses ended up not entering into the promised land. Now, keep in mind, just as we're talking about the promised land of him entering into the promised land, we're also talking about within our lives, we're also talking about us entering into that, making it into that new covenant, getting a chance to actually make it on one of these chariots, you know what I'm saying, and bypass the second death. That's something to keep in mind, us making it into that rest. You feel me? So let's read this. This is Numbers chapter 20 and 1 verse 20 verse 1 in the NLT. In the first month of the year, the whole community of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin and camped at Kadesh. While they were there, Miriam died and was buried. So Miriam, she ended up dying. She was buried. Verse 2. Now, understand this. There was no water for the people to drink at this place, so they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. So they're like, hey, nigga, hey, it ain't no water. Like, niggas is thirsty. So they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. They like, hey, Why did you like they really probably like, why you lead us here? Like there's no water, there's nothing for us. So they got mad at Moses and Aaron, and they pissed off. Verse 3. The people blamed Moses and said, if only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. So they like, hey, it was better if we had died, because you gotta remember, like chapters before this, man, the Most High was just killing them. Every time they was complaining, he was taking them out. You know what I'm saying? He was taking them out because niggas was sitting up there not trying to obey the Most High. So he was like, you know what? These niggas has got to die. They got to die. So they up here like, hey, shoot, we might as well die with our brothers that died. You know what I'm saying? Showing you how our people is, man. Like they can see the Most High kill somebody in the most treacherous way, and they still will sit up there and be like, hey, they don't care. They're gonna continue to complain and do the things they're gonna do. And as a result, these people are sitting up there saying to themselves, we should have just died with our brothers. Water was that much important that they was like, we should have just died with our brothers who rebelled against the Most High. They was fine with that, which is crazy, but that's our people. Verse 4. Why have you brought the congregation of the Lord's people into this wilderness to die along with all our livestock? So they're like, why we could have just stayed up in Egypt, homie. Matter of fact, he gonna say that in the next verse. But he's like, why did you bring us into the wilderness to die? Like, there's no water. We got all our livestock. We got everything. You know what I'm saying? You bringing us here, there's no water. We're going to be dehydrated. These are different type of things that they're sitting up here thinking, and they're sitting up here bringing out to Moses. Like, this is crazy. That's what's going on to them, in their minds. Now, let's look at verse 5. Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? This land has no grain, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranates, no water to drink. So they like, hey, it ain't even no water. It's no grapes. It's no grain, no figs. It's none of that. It's nothing here. It's nothing here for us. But yet you sent us here. Like, why did you even make us leave Egypt? But it's showing you, like, in this instance, food is more important than oppression to these niggas. They like, we would rather have food. We would rather be in Egypt. We would rather be oppressed. We would rather be oppressed than to be somewhere with no food. They would have rather been oppressed by the Egyptians, who really didn't give a damn about them, but yet they were still being fed, and that's how they were. We would rather suffer in Egypt, being oppressed, than to sit up here and be going somewhere to a promised land, and we're entering into a place in the wilderness where we don't have no food, no nothing. That was the mentality of the people. And that was the mentality of the people that Moses was dealing with. Now, Numbers 20:6 says, Moses and Aaron turned away from the people. They went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell face down on the ground. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to them. So we got the Lord that appeared to Moses and Aaron. And the Lord said to Moses, notice he spoke to Moses. He let Moses know, look, check it out. Verse 8, you and Aaron must take the staff, assemble the entire community. So assemble all these people. The Most High has given him the instructions on what he needs to do. As the people watch, speak. Notice this is the main thing right here. Speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. You will provide enough water from the rock to satisfy the whole community and their livestock. So here he's telling them, he's giving them instructions. He's telling them, hey, what you need to do, assemble everybody. You need, as the people watch, I want you to speak to the rock. Now, to niggas in today's time, they probably look at that like, why am I speaking to a rock? I mean, that's what the Most High told him to do. He told him to speak to a rock in front of all these people, and it's going to pour out water. The Most High gave him clear instructions. See, you're not supposed, like, at the end of the day, that might have sounded crazy, just like, it sounded crazy with Moses and not Moses, but Abraham and his wife, able to have a child over 100 years. They're 100 years old, able to have a whole child. That might sound crazy, but hey, it happened. Like if the Most High sits up there and guides you and shows you something to do and instructs you to do something, you got to do it. It ain't about sitting up there thinking like, oh, that's crazy for me to do this in front of the people. No, you do it. You feel me? If you a servant of the Lord, you're gonna do it. You feel me? Now, um, now he told him to speak to the rock. Now watch this. This is verse 9. So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. That's one thing that made Moses so great, because he did what the Lord told him to do. He came to the Lord as a child. You see what I'm saying? He came to the Most High as a child. A child does what he's supposed to do, what he's told to do. You see what I'm saying? Verse 10. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? So he's looking at the people like, hey, you niggas is rebels. All y'all been doing is being rebellious. And then he's saying, must we bring you water from this rock? So that's what he's asking. Now let's read verse 11. Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. Now, one thing to understand, it says Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff. Moses, that ain't what the Most High told him to do. The Most High told him to do what? Let's go back up here. He said, speak to the rock. But yet Moses down here did what? He raised his hand and he struck the rock twice with the staff. Moses didn't speak to the rock like the Most High told him to do. But notice how the water still gushed out. So here we find that he didn't do everything that was supposed to be done, but yet, he still got an outcome of, so the outcome that the Most High laid out was that the water was going to come out. Now, he didn't sit up there and actually follow the Most High's instructions to a full T, but the water still gushed out. So it might have seemed as if he got a reward because he did what he did. And it might have seemed like a reward because of the fact that the water gushed out still. But one thing to understand is that the Lord didn't see it like that. Watch verse 12. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them. So here we find that because Moses, they didn't trust the Most High enough to demonstrate his holiness to the people. The Most High wanted the people to see his holiness, and Moses and Aaron and them got in the way of that. They got in the way of the Most High holiness being manifested all the way to all the people of Israel. So as a result of them getting in the way of that, and as a result of them moving off of emotion and feelings opposed to actually moving off of faith, guess what? You will not lead them into the land that I'm giving them. You see what I'm saying? It's a need to have faith because, without faith, I mean, like, you got to think about it like this. Like the scriptures say, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. So, one person might have faith, one person might have works. But if those are not working, I mean, they have to be working together. Because think about it like this. Anything that I have faith in, you're going to see works behind that faith to back up that faith. Moses didn't have enough faith in the Most High to demonstrate his holiness to the people. Instead, he went on the opposite path. And this is why you can't let your emotions get in the way of the purpose that the Most High have for you. You can't let your emotions get into the way of everything that the Most High is trying to do with you. Like when it comes to the scriptures, your emotions don't mean anything. I mean, you might feel something, you might feel that, I might feel this, I might feel that, but guess what? At the end of the day, it's thus says the Lord that would matter. It's the laws of God that matter. It ain't about your feelings. You feel me? You can feel something, you can feel however you want about whatever you want to feel about the text, whatever you want to feel about the Most High, to whatever, but it still ain't going to change the outcome of what the text say, and it's not going to change the instructions. Moses, And to be honest, Moses probably was just sick and tired of these niggas. Like, man, I'm tired of these brothers. I'm tired of them. To the point where he was so consumed by how much how much tired he was of these people, to the point where he just was like, man, fuck it, just hit the damn rock instead of speaking to it like the Most High told him to speak to it. But that's what happens when you're consumed in your emotions. You're consumed in everything else that the Most High didn't tell you to do. You feel me? Let's go to let's go to no, let's go to 1 Samuel first. Let's go to 1 Samuel first. Hey, the same thing happened with Saul though. Where we at right now? I'm not gonna read the whole thing with Saul, but I'm gonna just get to the point. This is first Samuel 15 and 22. But Samuel replied, what is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to his voice? Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fatted rams. So basically what he's saying is that, you know, you thinking you giving the Most High something, whether it's a sacrifice, whether it's a gift or whatever, giving them some type of worship, giving them this. Oh, I play the drums here, or I do this for the Lord, I do that. Hey, what's better than all that is you being obedient to him. You being obedient to what he instructed. That's what's better. Obedient. You feel me? So then it says what? Rebellion is as sinful as witchcraft. So to rebel against the Most High, this is as sinful as, you know, you being a damn witch. You see that? And stubbornness as bad as worshiping idols. So being stubborn is just as bad as worshiping idols, man. And that's a terrible thing. Now watch this. So because you have rejected the command of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. And this was basically speaking to Saul, like, because Saul was told to go kill all them Amalekites, all them damn small hats, kill all of them. But he didn't do it. He spared some. And as a result, the Most High got on his ass about it. And that's the same thing with Moses. You know, it don't matter how high you are, how big you are, the Most High will break you down. It don't matter who you is. You know, just as he can raise one up, he can put you down low, you know? So, you know, that's something to think about. What was I about to go to? I was about to go to a scripture. Let's go to yeah, let's go here. Sirach 10. Let's go to Sirach 10. And this is another thing too, because you got to understand, Moses didn't lead the people into the promised land. It was Joshua that would lead them. Let's read this right here. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he was. And this, I'm my bad. This is Sirach chapter 10 and 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he was set over it one that is profitable. And one that was profitable at that time was Joshua. You see what I'm saying? That was the next man in line, because Moses ended up not doing what God told him to do. You feel me? So as a result, Moses didn't get a chance to enter in. Let's continue to go down. Where am I trying to go? Right here. The Bible says in Sirach chapter 10 and 12, the beginning of pride is when one departed from God and his heart is turned away from his maker. That was the thing that Moses ended up doing. You see what I'm saying? It was pride that crept in there. That's the beginning of somebody departing from the Most High. And as a result, the Most High looked at, you know, because he held Moses in such high regard, he couldn't go unpunished. You know, matter of fact, he couldn't go unpunished. The Most High couldn't allow him to go unpunished. He was the example to everybody else. Like, The Most High been killing everybody else. And here Moses, probably one of the greatest men outside of Yahweh Shai to walk the earth. Here he sits up here and not do what the Most High had to do, told him to do. The Most High was not playing with it, man. You feel me? And as a result, right here, this is what he did. Because it says what? This is Sirach chapter 5 and 2. Follow not thine own mind and strength to walk in the ways of thine heart. He followed his own mind and his own strength and walked in the ways of his heart. That pride crept in. And that's why you have to make sure you don't allow that pride to be something that's just going to bubble up in you, because that pride can bubble up in you and it can cause you to go astray. You see what I'm saying? And this is just showing you how even some of the greatest men in the Bible, were just merely they were men, meaning they can slip and they can mess up. A lot of times we think that people can't mess up, but people can mess up. People definitely can mess up. You might mess up here, but as a righteous man, if you're a righteous man, you're going to continue to be righteous. Period. Now don't make a habit of, the same practices, the same things that cause you to fall. Don't make a habit of going back into those things or putting yourself in that position to end up falling into those things even deeper. Don't make a habit of that. Don't even put yourself in that predicament, because you don't want to fall. It shouldn't be a good thing to fall. Something that's okay for you to do. Walk the way you need to walk. You feel me? Matter of fact, let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 1. This is Psalms 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do he meditate day and night. So it's telling you, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. He's not walking in the way of the ungodly or the way that they're trying to lead him in. This is somebody that's delighting in the law of God. That's the path he's walking in. He's letting that be his instruction. And that's a blessed man. He's meditating on the law day and night so that he can continue to walk on that path. And the Most High is going to bless that man. You see what I'm saying? So, it's a need to don't let pride creep in, because you got to understand too, like, let me go. We want to enter that rest. Moses didn't get a chance to enter that rest. We want to enter that rest. But understanding that just as he could fall, you can fall. Let's look at this right here. This is Hebrews chapter 3 and 7. Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost saith, today, if ye will hear his voice, it says, verse 8, harden not your hearts as in the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness. Verse 9, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works for 40 years. So these people were tempting the Most High. Our forefathers were tempting the Most High. They were going against the Most High, and as a result, that we saw all his works. But these niggas was hardening their hearts in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 10, wherefore I was grieved with that generation and said, they do always err in their heart and have not known my way. So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest. So he's letting them know, like, hey, these niggas was like, they was always erring in their hearts and they didn't know my ways, which was keeping my commandments. So as a result, guess what? I swore my wrath. They're not going to enter my rest. They're not going to get a chance to experience my rest because of the simple fact they didn't want to do what they were supposed to do. You feel me? Verse 12, take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you with an evil heart of unbelief and departing from the Lord God, the living God. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you need to take heed to your heart. What's in your heart? Is it unbelief? Are you believing? Are you really believing? Because if you're really believing, you're going to be acting upon the things that you believe in. You're not just going to be saying that you're believing. You're going to be somebody that's actually acting upon the things that you speak, that you say that you believe in. You feel me? Is it evident that you believe? Are there works to show that you believe? Or is it just something, it's just a thought in my head, I believe, I'm just having voices, it's voices in my head say I believe, but it's no actions to show. Or, I say I believe, but matter of fact, let's go to the precept. Is in my mind right now. Let's go to this precept. Let's go to precept. We're going to Titus chapter 1, verse, I think it's 16. They profess, this is Titus chapter 1, verse 16. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. So you can profess and say that you know God, but in your works, you deny God. You're denying that. You're saying one thing, but your works are showing another thing. It's showing you being abominable, disobedient unto every good work, and a reprobate. You see what I'm saying? So make sure the things that you're saying is lining up. You feel me? So, and to know God is what? 1 John 2. This is 1 John chapter 2, verse 3. It says, and hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. Verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. So the way that we know God is by keeping his commandments. That's how you show that you know God. That's how you show that you know who God is, that you know God. Like when you say you know somebody, you say you know him. Well, if you know God, you would know that you need to keep his commandments. So keep his commandments. To sit up there and say you know God and you're not keeping his commandments, you're lying. You're a liar. And there's no truth in you. And that's just what the Bible says. I mean, you can get in your feelings about it, whatever, but that's just what the scriptures say. We have to get to the point where we're not like, if we're really trying to work on something and really trying to get better, and we're trying to mold ourselves and align ourselves in the ways of the Most High, then we should be able to take this type of criticism. You know what I'm saying? Because even as I sit up here and teach this lesson, I'm sitting up here, taking the criticism myself. Like, do you really know God? Are you keeping the commandments? Are you doing what you need to do? That's what I'm doing myself, because we need to do that. If the teacher's not doing that, how the hell is the people going to do that? If the teacher's not considering, his ways, or considering, the things he need to do before he gets out and teach or whatever, if he's not doing what he's supposed to do, how the hell is the people going to do it? So we got to set the good example as, leaders in a community, and just set good examples as teachers, set good examples as a brother, whether you're a brother, whether you are a son, whether you a good, set a good example as a husband or whatever, man. You a Hebrew Israelite. We got to set a good example to our people. You feel me? So let me go back to where I was at. Where was that? Oh, first. Okay, let's go back here. But basically, matter of fact, we're gonna stop right there. Matter of fact, yeah. So the main thing is this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stop my screen. We actually gonna end up stopping right there. So the main thing is this, is to just the same thing that happened with Moses. He didn't enter into the promised land because he didn't fully follow the instructions of the Most High. The Most High is serious about that. So we need to make sure that we're following the instructions of the Most High. We're not sitting up there just sidestepping the things he's saying, and actually keeping it to a T, doing the best that we can, following the Most High to the best of our ability. You feel me? So I'm going to close out and give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of his son, Yahweh Shah, you English call Jesus Christ. It's your boy, Padad Tazawar. Shalom.